Well, today should be kind of interesting. We're going to talk about the decrease in price of the latest MetaZoo booster box, the Chromie's Cryptid Carnival first edition set on the open market, thanks to the TCG player dump. We're going to talk about how that affects me specifically and how it affects a lot of retailers. We'll talk about retailer bankruptcy and how in the world is possible to survive collapses like this as a retailer and what I do. And I just wanted to also talk about there's always misinformation when there's a lack of information. I noticed this on social media, Discord, Instagram, YouTube, whatnot. So I want to talk a little bit about MetaZoo pricing. When I look at a release, kind of like why I choose the prices that I choose, what I choose to sell at, and what are the MetaZoo requirements regarding pricing, just because people who don't know anything about it seem to be talking about it, and I know a lot about it. So I thought, well, let's just let you guys know how it works so that you don't have to guess and you'll know. And some of you might find that interesting. And while we talk about all this conspiracy and bankruptcy and failures and whatnot and pricing collapse, let's open some MetaZoo packs too, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. We are MetaZoo fans enjoying this wonderful game. So oh my gosh. So Chromie's Cryptid Carnival, if we hop over to the market, it is selling. It's actually selling pretty well. If you go to like eBay sales and TCG player sales and just independent retailer sales, it's selling well. The problem, of course, is that it is selling well now at approximately wholesale price. And that's because it was doing fine. It was like holding a typical $90 to $105 a box. And then a large corporate entity, eBay TCG player, they're actually one business, came out and just dumped a ton of product at wholesale price on the market. Okay. And then it basically put a ceiling on the market and just dumped on everybody. So now you have a bunch of retailers that are kind of just like liquidating stock at wholesale price. Now, people are still buying the boxes because the product itself, that is a lot of fun. It's a beautiful product, a product people enjoy. A ton of Sanrio influencers are opening it. MetaZoo fans are opening it. So it's not tanking because it's not a good product. It's tanking because once again, there is an oversupply issue on the market where, for whatever reason, the entities that sell MetaZoo product are getting way too much MetaZoo product. And they're all at once. It's coming all at release instead of shipping in more restricted waves or whatever. And then they order too much because they FOMO into whatever hopes and dreams are. And then they get stuck with it. And then the price ends up collapsing. It's the same. Essentially, the eBay drama with this set is just a new hat on the same issue that has plagued every single MetaZoo release from Cryptid Nation's second edition all the way through now, with the exception of Native. So it didn't happen to Nightfall because one of the distributors, Channel Fireball, held back a ton of supply. It spiked the price, and then they sold into that spike for a year. And for legal reasons, that's a joke, right? But anyway, and it didn't happen at First Edition Cryptid Nation and Kickstarter Cryptid Nation. It didn't happen to Native. So there was a chance. Native was the set going into this, right? There was a chance that MetaZoo had figured it out. Native was the MetaZoo core set released before Chromie's Cryptid Carnival. And those booster boxes, which are still selling, all the time, people are picking up Native boxes, they're selling it almost $100 a box, which is a great kind of like steady state price for MetaZoo. So when you look at the sets that are having problems, it's funny because it's not like MetaZoo pumped too much supply into the market. The reason Native is doing well is because people that ordered Native didn't order a lot of it. It's because the retailers chose to not over order Native because they didn't know how it would do. And the reason Chromie's Cryptid Carnival is suffering is because retailers got excited and they ordered too much, and now they are dumping it. And that is what happened with Wilderness, and that is what happened with Cryptid Nation's second edition, and that is what happened with UFO, and that is what is happening with Seance. It's happening to, and that's what's happened to Nightfall. It's what's happened to every single MetaZoo set except for Native. And so what I see is just the same problem every single time where, a lot of people get hyped about this stuff and then they order way too much and they order beyond their means and they can't sell it. And then they start to dump it, and then the cycle of the race to the bottom continues, and we all just kind of flush out. So that is the journey of Chromie's Cryptid Carnival now, where it is flushing out. So some people have wondered how this affects me and how I handle this as a MetaZoo retailer. Like, why am I still selling MetaZoo despite the incredible volatility in MetaZoo prices? So it has required some finesse. I'm just going to be honest. Like, obviously, selling MetaZoo has required some finesse. And so I think one of the reasons I've been able to do okay in it is because I have the support of such a large chunk of the MetaZoo community, because I make content videos and I provide the Oasis Smart MetaZoo Discord, and I do articles, and like I do a lot of supportive things for the community, and so they support back. But the other reason I haven't gone bankrupt yet is I don't over leverage, right? What I do going into a set is I try to order enough so that when the set lands, I can sell about 70%. That's my goal. It doesn't always happen exactly, but my goal is to sell about 70% of what I ordered. And then I have the rest to open on like live streams and sell over time on the website, and to hang on to for my own, like just my personal supply basically. And so that is what has happened with Chromie's Cryptid Carnival. I had about 5,000 SKUs or 5,000 units of Chromie's Cryptid Carnival, right? I had 1,200 of the booster boxes, and then I had almost 4,000, a little bit over 5,000 actually, about 4,000 blister packs. So of that original supply, I sold about 70% of it, and I have about 30% left. And when I sold it, it was in pre-orders and around release, so it was before the price collapse, but I actually do not sell at MSRP. I know some people have rightfully, it's understandable why they would think this. They assume that I sell at MSRP, but the irony of that is anyone who's actually bought from me, almost anyone who's bought from me, will know that I don't actually sell at MSRP. And I think people don't want to talk about it because technically MetaZoo partners are supposed to sell at MSRP. There's a document out there that says if you're a MetaZoo retail partner, you cannot bundle, you cannot discount, you cannot mark the product down. You have to sell at MSRP. And I just wanted to come out here and quite openly say that I have not been selling at MSRP for a long time, and I have a really good reason for that. I bundle product, even with Wilderness. Wilderness I sold at market actually. Yeah, I sold Wilderness like, I think it was like $99 a box, or like $98 a box, something like that. And I sold over 1,000 boxes of Wilderness, right? And then UFO, that was when we were supposed to adhere to market pricing, to MSRP. And I sold about 1,000 boxes of UFO, and I sold it pretty close to MSRP. But I bundled a bunch of free stuff in with it. That's what we all did. It wasn't just me. Almost all the MetaZoo partners, they bundled a bunch of free stuff in, and they offered, 10% off discount codes. They did all kinds of stuff to make it less likely that customers would be upset when the products declined after release, because I don't think anybody thought it would hold. So it was the same thing with Seance. Now Seance, after UFO, that was about 1,000 boxes. Seance I sold, and then there's hundreds of theme decks and blister packs. It's probably about 4,000 units of product again, just like pretty similar to Chromie's Cryptid Carnival overall, 4,000 to 5,000 units of product. So going into Seance was a little bit less than UFO. Seance was the first set where I tested the water of selling just a little bit below MSRP, and I also offered a discount code and a bunch of free stuff as well. Seance bundles actually had a lot of free stuff, and it brought the price down to about $100 a box was the effective price, is kind of what I was aiming for. And then with Native, similar thing. I sold it below MSRP, just pretty openly on the market. I think I originally listed Native boxes at like $119 or something like that. And then I also offered discount codes, right? So you could get it for even less than that if you wanted to, if you use a discount code. And then with this product, I sold the boxes if you use the discount code, and I advertise it everywhere on my YouTube, in Oasis, everywhere. Sometimes I even put it in the listing. Use this code for money off. I sold this Chromie's Cryptid Carnival at $119 per booster box. But in addition, if you purchased a booster box, I added a fully holographic promo card. And if you look at secondary market for these stamped promo cards, partners who have sold them, other partner I've never seen an Argos one go up for sale, but other partners have sold them for about $15 a piece. So I figure, well, if you order a booster box from me, you get the box for $119 and you get a promo worth about $15. It takes the effective price down to about $105. And I'm opening up about this because for some reason there is this persistent thing that's being propagated by, it seems like by people who don't even buy or play MetaZoo, a lot of them, because if you ordered product from any MetaZoo partner, you almost always get it bundled or discounted. Like, they all do it. It's not just me. Everybody does it. And so because of this, MetaZoo actually has essentially given up policing retailers on their pricing, because I think they realize that it's causing more harm than it is causing good. All they wanted to do was protect the marketplace by preventing price collapse, but they were going about it the wrong way. You can't do that by controlling the price that people are supposed to list at. You can only do that. The only way to do that is to control the supply. And every single time MetaZoo does a drop, they're dropping too much supply, and so the price doesn't hold. It's as simple as that. And you can tell people all day to not keep the price, to not lower the price, but like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So why have I been offering discounts on pricing and packaging with free stuff and offering all that kind of stuff as a store? The reason is because in order to not go out of business in a market like this, you need to do two things as a retailer. And the first is, we mentioned it before, don't over leverage. You need to be able to sell enough product at release or in pre-orders to, at a minimum, cover your costs. If you are not doing that, you are doing it wrong. You're the one who's going to blow up, okay? If you're ordering more than you can sell, you're the problem. You're the reason things are going to tank on the market because you're desperate, you're underwater, and you have to dump the product. That's just how it is. And if you're not using pre-orders and you don't have a good audience for a product, you really need to be careful. Oh no, this isn't the rare one. I thought it was My Melody and Hello Kitty. Nope, Chromium My Melody, full hollow. You shouldn't be ordering more than you can sell, because if you're doing that, you're going to go out of business. And then the next thing is you need to have, let's open a Kickstarter pack, shall we? Let's buy this little Kickstarter base set. You need to be able to have customers who come back to you. And so the way I've always looked at it is this. If I sell boxes for $140, knowing that within a couple weeks of release, they will drop to, to whatever it's going to drop to 105 would be typical, 90 to 105, then everyone's going to be pissed off at me. And so what I did was I basically, because with CN2 and Wilderness, I sold at market pricing. And Nightfall, I sold at MSRP, even though it was like $240 a box. I sold at $140, right? And the reason is because you want to create a customer base that comes back and supports you. So when I'm in good times as a retailer, like when Nightfall is spiking and Cryptonation First Edition base is spiking, I offered that product to people at cheap so they could get access to it. I didn't spike the price, and I created a loyal customer base because of that. And then on the flip side, when prices are crashing about things and I'm having a tough time, the loyal customer base comes back, is what I've noticed, and then I'm able to sell things, and I cut enough of a discount when I can to prevent people from being upset when inevitably prices go down on release. Oh, Kickstarter! I'm sorry. Full hollow MetaZoo Kickstarter Loveland Frogman. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was just about to submit some cards to PSA 2. Wow, that is a beautiful. I'm sorry I got distracted. This is a very serious conversation. Look at that beauty. Wow. Oh, we're gonna grade that. Oh, he's so pretty. I'm so glad dude, this was a hot Kickstarter box. Did you guys see the live stream? We already pulled a full hollow Kickstarter moth out of this, and a reverse hollow Kickstarter moth as well. Now we have a frog. All right, I got to put that somewhere safe. You need to create a customer base that will come back to you. And if you're selling at full price, they won't come back. You're going to burn them. Look at the people who did buy at 140 for MetaZoo and then it crashes. They're not happy. And so I didn't want to do that to my customer base. And so I thought that the Chromie's Cryptid Carnival set would probably perform like native, is what I thought. I thought for sure it was such an overwhelmingly powerful. Let's open another Kickstarter pack, shall we? With such an overwhelmingly powerful IP, I thought for sure that that this would hold $90 to $105 a box, because that is what native is doing, and I thought for sure MetaZoo had kind of learned about oversupply, or whatever they're doing with these other businesses was pretty well locked in, and I don't know the details about the TCG player agreement or whatever, so I felt pretty good about it. So I thought if I offered booster boxes of Kuromis to customers at $119 with a free card, taking the effective box price down to like $105. I thought that was pretty safe, because everyone expects boxes to go down a little bit over the first 2 weeks. Native took about 2 weeks to get down into the 90s or so from a little bit over 100. So when Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival dropped to like $75 because TCG Player just lights the market on fire because it's having whatever the heck it's got going on. Enfield Monster, oh, that is payback for the Loveland Frogman. All right, well, you win some, you lose some, don't you? Yeah, you know, I didn't see that coming. Nobody knew TCG Player was going to do that. Nobody knew that. A bunch of people thought Chromie was going to be a slam dunk set, and frankly, it would have been. Boxes would still be 90 to 105 in the market if TCG Player didn't dump all over it. So that sucks, you know? I don't like that. But the reason I'm not bankrupt is because I don't over leverage. So whenever you're going to sell a set, and I recommend anyone who's trying to make it as an LGS, you don't want to become the 70% that fail or whatever within 5 years. You know, no matter how excited you are about a set, no matter what you think it's going to do, you need to know that you can sell 70% of it before it hits. You need to know that. You need to have it done in pre-orders. You need to use your experience with past things. If you try to FOMO into something and you order more than you can handle and it goes south on you, you're bankrupt. You're gone, right? You're on the market dumping at a loss and you're out money. And that sucks. Similarly, the reason I still have customers who will come back is because, oh, no way, dude. Reverse Hollow Kickstarter Chaos Crystal. Cool, man. Look at that little beauty. He's a little bit off center. But we'll take a Chaos Crystal. Wow, pretty good Kickstarter packs. Maybe I should have more of those. Yeah, is because I take care of people as best I can. You know, obviously I wish boxes were still at 95 to 105. I wish that were the case, and they're not, and that sucks. Like that sucks for me I have a few hundred boxes left. That sucks. I've got a few hundred boxes that are now essentially, if I sell them, they're going to be at best about break even if I sell them on my own platforms. By the box anyway. If I sell packs, I can do better, but they'll be at best break even until TCG Player takes its foot off the gas. You know, once TCG Player and eBay are done with their liquidation, then the market might dry up. And here's why. So, you know, I've heard some people say that they think that Chromie's Cryptic Carnival is going to drop like UFO all the way down to zero or whatever. But I don't think that's the case. The price decline's been pretty bad. But if you look at the volume available on the market, outside of TCG Player, the volume actually isn't like dramatically high relative to other sets. Look, outside of TCG Player, I mean like the entity itself, right? If you go to independent stores on TCG Player with Chromie, the volume being sold is actually pretty reasonable. And there's only, there's only 2 pages. That's it? Or what is it? A page and a half? Yeah. So you've got 2 pages of stores on TCG Player selling product. And one of those pages is up in the 90s still. So you really only have you have less than 1 page of stores dumping product in TCG Player at below $90. So the real problem here is the volume that TCG Player itself has for cryptids, has for Chromie's Cryptic Carnival. And if that can dry up, I think the market can recover, because if you look at UFO and Wilderness, for example, those sets you'll see still to this day, right? We're talking like a year and a half to 2 years after the release of those sets, you still have 4 pages, 5 pages of stores stuck with that product, dumping it. And here you only have 1.5 pages for Chromie's Cryptic Carnival. So I think the supply is lighter than UFO and Wilderness, and the demand is higher. So the wild card basically is going to be TCG Player. And that's why, so what am I, my point is this, what am I doing with my leftover boxes as a retailer? Am I dumping it at a loss? No, I'm not going to dump it at a loss, because I don't have to. I can weather the storm. So if you bought a case of this as a fan, this is the kind of stuff you want to look at. Like, do you think it's going to go to 40? Or do you think that, like Native, which also dropped down a little bit after release, Native dropped down to about $80. Like here we have the release of Native, there was the second wave, Native dropped down to $80, and then it recovered, and it's been running sideways ever since, with only 1 page of retailers, a little bit less than Chromie's Cryptic Carnival. I think, and I don't know what's going to happen, I think that Chromie's Cryptic Carnival will recover. I don't think it's going to go the way of CN2, Wilderness, and UFO, just because of the fact that demand is higher and supply is lower. Like, it's not rocket science. It's as simple as that. Am I right? I don't know. We're going to have to follow this up. I don't know. But that's what I think. And so I'm just going to sit on my 300 or whatever boxes are left. And I have about 1,000 blister packs left out of about 4,000. And I have a few hundred boxes left. I'm just going to sit on them. I think I have them marked on my website. I forget, $85 or something like that. Let's find out. We're gonna go to argosanon.com. February 2nd, shameless self-promotion, MetaZoo SCP. Pre-orders go live. Stay tuned for that. Okay, I have met about $85 right now for a MetaZoo booster box because of the TCG price collapse that none of us anticipated. And if I sell at that price, then it's fine. They'll walk out the door at this price. They'll drip out over time. I'm not gonna retire on it. I'm not gonna hose anybody on it. It's pretty reasonable. It's taxes included, and there's some free shipping options. So when you consider tax and shipping, you'll probably come out at about, if you bought it for $75 on eBay, basically pretty similar. So I'll do that, and then the rest of it, we'll just wait. We'll wait for the market to dry up. I think more and more Sanrio fans are gonna buy into it and have some fun with it. So I don't know. That's me. But the TCG player thing really sucks. It sucks because people are gonna judge MetaZoo, because it's a quality product with great artwork. It's really fun, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that they will judge MetaZoo by the value of the flagship product, which is the booster box. And so they will just look at, and this is, there's some credibility, there's some reason for this. They'll just look at the market and they'll say, how's MetaZoo doing? And they're going to look at all these box prices in the ground and they're going to say, not very well, right? And people are still buying it. People are buying UFO, they're buying Wilderness, they're buying base set. They're just buying it at prices that crush retailers. So I've talked to MetaZoo about this. I've talked to them about the supply issues and set composition things, like things they need to do to get these box values up. Because if they don't fix the oversupply issues at release, game stores are not going to carry the product. Fortunately, MetaZoo has really good corporate relationships, which allows them to continue selling, through like Claire's and Walmart and Target, Barnes and Noble, Hot Topic, Fanatics. They can sell direct as well. eBay, Rainbow Fusion Aura. Oh, hollow, beautiful, really nice native hit. I think that's like a $40 card, $40 card, something like that. That's beautiful, very nice. Anyway, MetaZoo has high quality products that people love, so they keep opening it. But the supply at release is way too unregulated, way too high. So if MetaZoo doesn't fix that, then they're not gonna win back game stores. And if you're a game store and you're getting into it and you over leverage, you're gonna blow up on a FOMO product because you over leveraged. And you might have to dump your product in the market at a loss. So anyway, I just wanted to take that time to kind of open some packs and have some fun and talk about how I have made it and how I have been successful as a game store, as a retailer, essentially, and what I do to protect my customer base in the face of uncertainty, like with bundling and discount codes and bonuses and stuff like that. And I mean no disrespect to MetaZoo and the people who run MetaZoo. I have no saltiness to them at all. That's not why I don't follow the partner guidelines, the MSRP thing. I do it because I'm a MetaZoo fan first and a retailer second, and I am protecting the MetaZoo community first over potential personal profit. So even if I could sell boxes at 140, if I thought prices were going to decline to 110, I wouldn't sell at 140 because I am protecting the MetaZoo fan base from a rule that is destined to fail. That is why I'm doing it. And I think that MetaZoo has now figured out that that they can't do this price control stuff with an open market product in this way. And if they want to control pricing, they have to control it through supply. They can't control it through rules. It's just not how it works. That's not how it works in collectibles. So anyway, what do you think about it? If for anyone who's still watching, who made it to the end of this little discussion, what do you think about all this? Are you a game store? How have you managed it? If you're a game store and you comment, I would love to know how long you've been in business, just out of curiosity, so that I can put some legs on your comment. But I would love to know what you think about oversupply issues and FOMO and stores blowing up and over leverage and stuff like that, because we just see so much death when it comes to game stores, so much turnover. You need to buy product like you're playing Minesweeper and be really picky and cautious about things, because one bad blow up can end a game store before they even pay off their mortgage. Hey, nice Stone Man, Wild 7, nice full hollow Stone Man from MetaZoo Wilderness. That's cool. Anyway, it's been a fantastic little discussion for you fine folks. Nice longer form video for anyone who is interested in that kind of insider, business side of things. So hope you have a fantastic week. We're gonna watch Kuromi. We watch the supply and see how it does. Hopefully, when enough retailers have flushed, because it doesn't seem like there's too many of them. Once they finish flushing, maybe prices will recover back to like the native, $90 to $105 a box kind of levels where we'd like to see it. But it'll take some time for that to all flush out. So that's all I have for now. Thank you, MetaFam, for stopping by. As always, I do appreciate this opportunity to entertain you fine peoples of MetaZoo. Thank you for your support. This is Argos signing out.